Shawn PorterJake vs Joshua will answer. Fixed fight, claims former boxing star Shawn Porter says there's good news and bad news for Jake Paul ahead of his fight against Anthony Joshua. The good? The fixed fight chatter will end after Friday. The bad? It's probably because it'll be a rough night for him. The 38-year-old champ joined TMZ Sports ahead of the big bout going down in a matter of hours on Netflix. And he broke down his thoughts on Gallo taking on the biggest challenge of his life, an active former heavyweight champ and Olympic gold medalist. Porter says anyone who actually fights knows Jake's bout against then 58-year-old Mike Tyson wasn't fixed. The legend was simply old and not in shape. Joshua, on the other hand, is as fit as it gets. So when the two step between the ropes in Miami, Porter says this will be the definitive proof the haters will need to shut up, 'cause Joshua is 36 years old, not retired. A current pugilist who will likely make light work of the former YouTuber. Worth noting, Paul's fights are 100% NOT fixed, and staging bouts is incredibly illegal. Paul and his team have consistently denied ever being involved in such practices, and have threatened legal action on anyone who claims otherwise. Porter says there shouldn't be a moment in the 8-round event where AJ is on the ropes getting beat up. But he would actually appreciate it if Joshua doesn't go for a full knockout out of respect for Paul taking on the insane fight. But Porter did say if Jake does end up getting in a good swing on AJ, you gotta appreciate it for what it is, pointing out that Joshua is a bit older now and has been knocked down by heavyweights recently. So no matter what happens, deal with it. Even if Jake Paul shocks the world and wins, which Porter finds highly unlikely.
This call. That was my thoughts. I didn't expect this call. Most people who are avid boxing fans but don't box, right? Everyone's calling me. And everyone really, I think this is the fight that's the rumblings of Jake Paul fights are fixed. The rumblings of Jake Paul fights are fake. I think those rumblings are going to be answered in just 2 days. We're going to watch that fight and we're going to know whether or not the fight is fixed, whether or not it's fake, whether or not it's, this behind the wall deals being done and all those things. I think that as a boxer, you can see when a fighter pulls punches, you can see when a fighter makes a move and doesn't do. And then the other side of that is, because we all see that, but the fighters we can understand why. With with Mike Tyson, everybody said the fight was not fixed. Everybody, well, he signed an agreement. Y'all don't know if he signed an agreement. Stop saying that. Well, what about him biting his gloves? I'll tell you what that was. Because I've experienced that being 15 years old. And my engine is running so hot because I've been out of the ring for 3 months. And the first day I come back to the gym, I'm sparring 6, 7, 8 rounds. When you aren't in shape to do it, you just can't do it. And Mike Tyson, even though we saw him training and all those other kinds of things, that man wasn't sparring. He wasn't sparring at the level that he needed to for this fight. So I think with this one, if we don't see Anthony Joshua land the big punch, if we feel like Anthony Joshua's waiting and all that kind of stuff, I'll be able to tell you guys whether or not it was real or fake. This is the disclaimer. Anthony Joshua has been punched by heavyweights. He's been knocked out by heavyweights. His punch resistance is not what it used to be. What does that mean? That means he can't do this as long as he used to be able to do it. If we see Jake Paul land something and knock him down, take it for what it is. Also, understand that you got somebody that's young in this thing, stupid enough to make the right move, and then you got another guy that's old in this thing and just not who he used to be.
If we find out that the fight is real, in your opinion, how does this play out? How should it play out?
The way it's supposed to play out, I think what I want to see is Anthony Joshua control the ring, control the fight, control the range, control the distance. For me, it's not about knocking out Anthony Joshua, right? For me, if Anthony Joshua were to knock him down and he gets up and they continue fighting and Anthony Joshua doesn't like jump on him and all this other kind of stuff. At the end of the day, there's something in boxing that most people don't know about, and it's respect. We all have respect here, so I would understand and I would appreciate the respect that Anthony Joshua understands. Yeah, you bit off more than you can chew. I just put you down. I'm not going to finish you, but now you know better. I would appreciate that. But all in all, I think that Anthony Joshua should control the pace. He should control the range of this fight. He should be able to land more than Jake Paul's landing. And there should never be a moment where Anthony Joshua is on the ropes getting beat up.
Is this more intriguing to you than Gervonta would have been? Very different opponents for Jake.
It's like, yo, you went from one extreme to another extreme. That one didn't make sense. This one didn't make sense. The only thing in the middle of all that makes sense is the money. And I think Netflix, they want I need a name that the world recognizes. Don't give me a name that the boxing world recognizes. Don't give me a name that England recognizes or America. I need a name that the world recognizes. And I think that's why they went from Tank Davis to Anthony Joshua.
And we've talked about this before, and you've always been a proponent that he is good for boxing. Even more people talking about this fight, that Jake is good for the sport of boxing.
And I've said this before. And so again, like here's this. I know that Jake Paul went and visited the Olympic team this past 2024 Olympic Games. That's beautiful. I love the kind of support I've seen him extend to boxing, but I want to see him extend more support to boxing. I don't need you talking about boxing on your platforms all day, every day. But some of these big fights that are going on, man, like, hey, boxing ain't just about you, So that's what I want to see from Jake. I have called him out loosely on the PorterJake podcast. You guys check out the PorterJake podcast. It's my podcast. I have, kind of called him out on that. But at the end of the day, he's putting eyes in front of a sport that if it's not him doing it, these eyes are not looking at the game.